Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Qayyim number matrix 1201076, and today I'm going to present my assignment 1 in subject Quran, Sunnah and Built Environment. The lecturer is Madam Nur Salah binti Abdul Latif. Okay, so this is the Al-Fatihah based discussion starting from the main to the creator. Al-Ahkam, from concept of rob in Al-Fatihah, this term relates with the constitution of Madinah by applying the concept of law. It means there are rules and laws in our lives, which play important roles to our decision. And the second is man-to-man, Al-Jama'ah, from the concept of Malik in Al-Fatihah. This term relates with the constitution of Madinah in terms of economy, defense and politics. It means to achieve unity society, those three things have to be considered appropriately. The last thing is meant to the environment, Ad-Dar, from the term of Al-Ma'bud in Al-Fatihah. This term is related with the constitution of Madinah, which is social. It is derived to create the good awareness from man to the environment around us. Okay, this is my site plan and the floor plan for my house. My house is located at Taman Sutera, Kajang, Selangor. The floor plan below, the right picture is the lower level and the right picture is the upper level. So the first principles is the principles of the relationship between man to the creator. So the first philosophy is respect for knowledge and conscience of the creator. The first point is neighborhood unit based on educational institution. Abiding the instructions from Allah, which is the knowledge is compulsory to our lives. My neighborhood was surrounded by several education institutions, starting from kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, college, and universities. Since my children time, I always study nearby my house. Tariqat Islam Nur Adin, Kafa, Sri Umairah, SK Lieutenant Lebanon, and Smart Kajang. Also for the university that nearby my house is University Kebangsaan Malaysia. The second point is city as center of learning and civilization. There are many libraries in the house located at the center space between each bedroom at the upper level, and all rooms are large enough to have a study area to put the study desk and chair. The third point for this philosophy is translate the glory of the creator through physical manifestation. At the kitchen area, there is a big sliding window which allows the natural lighting and ventilation through the house. And behind the sliding window, there is a greenery view of the mini garden that was built by the residences through my streets. The view illustrates the appreciation of the residences to the glory of the creator through physical manifestation. And the last point is conservation of environment. Instead of having a full rigid structure of house, our neighborhood also has some space at the front and beside for our house. The space is wisely used by the people to plant numerous kinds of plants. There are also a lake area that provided for the residences to do recreational activities. And all of these are suitable for the residences to conscious about the merciful of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. The second philosophy of this relationship is justice. The first one is activities and elements at the rightful and appropriate place. Our ibadah spot in living to, which is an acceptable location because it is not facing the toilets and is large enough for all of our family members to pray. Otherwise, toilet 2 and toilet 3 are located within appropriate place because the toilets are facing directly to the ibadah spots. You can see through the floor plan at the left side. The second point is formulation of policies and monitoring, facilitating development that are just. There are some policies wrote by my parents to monitor activities to their sons. We are not allowed to be outside from house after 8 p.m. The prayer, breakfast, lunch, and dinner session have to be fully involved all together by all family members. And the third point for this philosophy is balance and equitable distribution of development. The residential area that my family are living is big. As there is a huge population, there are 2 surau and 1 mosque that built within the residential area. The mosque was just built this year and it can fit all the people during the Friday prayer or Tarawih prayer in Ramadan. There are also some shop lots nearby our residential area, which is more than enough to supply foods and needs to the people here. The last point is the provision of facilities to at least meet the minimum standard. The mosque is able to accommodate the neighborhood. There are also 2 recreational areas, the lake and the field, which can bear with the neighborhood well. The residential area has the bus stop nearby to ease the transportation of the neighborhood with public transportation such as MRT, KTM, and express bus. The next philosophy is compassion. All planning and development decisions and actions consider effects to the individual, society, and environment. I could say the development within the area nearby my residential spot is very strategic. It is linked at the center of Putrajaya, KL, and Bandar Baru Bangi. The residential spot is at the hills, which give numerous advantages to the communities, such as nice view during both day and night. So it can enhance our conscious to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. So the next point is the provision of facilities beyond minimum standard. The mosque and surau are able to bear with the population here. There is also some community facilities nearby the residential area, such as police station, fire station, and restaurants to fill the need for the community. The next philosophy is trustworthy and credibility. The first point is planning must based on actual facts. The position of my house is well located as the house can fully expose to sun orientation during the day. The sun will rise from the left side and fall to the right side of the house. The next point is listening and accepting public opinion if it leads to a better living environment. So every month, the meeting between residences management with the resident will be held. So there are plenty of suggestions to improve the quality of these areas like security and many more issues that we need to overcome. And the next philosophy is unity. So the first point is to provide development that enhance interaction. So there are partition wall between the dining and living area. So it is a little bit difficult for people at the kitchen to ask help from people at the living room. And the space at the living room is filled with the television and lots of seats, such as sofa and table chair, which will ease the interaction among the family members. The second point is to use of writings, symbols, images, and other elements that reflects unity. So at the stairwell, my mother hangs some of our pictures to cherish the environment in the house, and it also reflects the love between each of the family members. So the next principle is the principles of the relationship between man and the environment. The first philosophy is cleanliness and beauty. There are specific places to put the cooking tools at the kitchen. There is also a proper arrangement of store that located under the staircase in order to store stuff in an unseen place. Every 3 to 4 days, the garbage truck arrives in the neighborhood to collect the waste from the homes. The party in charge will come to the neighborhood to cut the lawn. As a result, it will preserve the attractiveness of our neighborhood. Okay, the next philosophy is economic and effective use of natural resources. So in my residential area, they are not aware with this philosophy because nearby my residential area, there are new residential houses that have been built around 6 to 7 years ago. Before the area there were full filled with new residential area, the land there was a mini forest which is abandoned and not managed well. In contrast, this action is absolutely against the philosophy of man to environment that I learned before. The mini forests actually have to be preserved even though the development is planned to build. So this can be referred to the in the Al Quran, Surah 30, verse 41, which it says, uh, man brings the um, kerosakan to the earth. And then the next philosophy is preservation of the environment and sustainable natural resources. Beside my house, there are many gardens that planted by my parents and other neighborhood around. The pen was used to plant some fruit and vegetable plants such as papaya trees, chilies, pandan leaves, and coconut tree. Instead of let the land without any use, it is well used to appreciate the natural resources that were given by Allah through this plant. So the last but not least, the principles of the relationship between man to man. And the first philosophy is respecting privacy and division of space. At the porch, there are half fences between my house and neighbor's house. It is purposely made to make some privacy for us. So the kitchen are hidden with a partition wall, which means it cannot directly be seen from the main entrance in order to give privacy space, especially for women. The next philosophy is the value of encouraging interaction acquaintance. As the most public space, living room is located nearest to the front entrance of the house. It is very suitable place to encourage the interaction by welcoming the guests or even with the family members. There are two dining space in my house. The first is for public dining when there are guests, and the second is nearer to the kitchen as it is a semi-public space for us. So the location for ibadah space is located between each bedrooms to aid the family members while doing in ibadah. And then the next philosophy is the value of encouraging interaction acquaintance. It is the same philosophy. So the next point is besides the residential also have several community services. For example, mosque helps the community to achieve united society by building jamaah concept. So the free park and lake area provide a room for the community to have more space in communicating between each of them, which is good in terms of interaction acquaintance. And by having some sort of these places, the community can enjoy living in community conditions while enjoying the context that were prepared by Allah. And the next philosophy is peace and security. In terms of peace and security, the management of the residential have appointed some security guards to guard the residential area every time. The vehicle circulation in and outwards from the residential area are monitored and filtered by applying a sticker that will only have by the residency members. The purpose is to ensure that dangerous situations are always be kept away. And the next philosophy is respecting the rights of the individual. To differentiate the space between my house and the neighbors, there are low fences so that each of us have some kind of privacy when doing outdoor activities at the porch. We also have the main gates in front of our house with the same purpose. So the kitchen is closed with a wall and just one arc opening to respect the rights of women when doing their kitchen activities without worry about covering their aura. Okay, so this is the evaluation for my um, house house study. So it is all yes, except for the philosophy of economic and effective use of resources in the relationship of man to the environment. It is at the point where residency management is decide to um, do deforestation in order to build a new residency area. So the conclusion based on Al-Fatiha. Regarding with the study I did about my house neighborhood, I would say it is completely obey with the philosophies and rules that were included in Al-Fatiha. The neighborhood that I studied implements all of the three concepts, which are Rububiyah, Mulkiyah, and Ubudiyah, because the specifications and conditions here are related with three characteristics in the constitutions of Madinah, which are Al-Hukum, Ad-Dar, and Al-Jam'ah. So thus, by implementing the concept from Al-Fatiha, we can avoid some sort of issues, such as lack of emphasis on environmental aspects as well as quality and sustainable living environment. So, that's all for me. Thank you for watching and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.